Let's dive into this explainer. We're traveling way back to November 1914, heading straight toward the most dangerous, mysterious continent on the planet, Antarctica. What we're about to explore today isn't just some dusty historical event. No, this is a literal, seemingly impossible survival thriller that pushes the absolute boundaries of human endurance. It's the wild story of a crew that set out to conquer the ice, only to find themselves completely, totally at its mercy. So our story centers around Sir Ernest Shackleton's ship, the Endurance. Now, she departed Britain with a crew of 28 men. Well, actually, officially, there were only supposed to be 27. The 28th, he was a stowaway named Blackborough. Shackleton had originally rejected him, but the guy snuck aboard anyway. When he was finally discovered, Shackleton gave him this absolutely chilling warning. If they ran out of food, Blackborough would be the first one eaten. Yikes, right? Now, I really want you to put yourself in the freezing boots of this crew for just a second. Could you maintain any kind of hope during a brutal Antarctic winter? I mean, we're talking 24 hours of total darkness a day, with temperatures plunging to negative 50 degrees Celsius. You've got no smartphone, no GPS, no radio, absolutely zero contact with the outside world. Think about that. Nobody even knows if you are alive. Part 1. The Grand Antarctic Plan, an impossible ambition. And I mean impossible. Shackleton had this grand, incredibly audacious goal to cross the entire Antarctic continent on foot, long before the era of GPS or modern technology. Let's move to and see how this builds, because this timeline outlines how that aggressive, super optimistic expedition turned into an immense, agonizing ordeal. Just look at the massive gap between getting trapped in January 1915 and finally reaching land in April 1916. It's just staggering. The sheer scale of this plan is honestly mind-blowing. They planned a 2,900-kilometer trek across the ice, estimating it would take just 120 days. Just 120 days. Now compare that to the years of survival we just saw. On November 5th, 1914, they arrived at a whaling station on South Georgia Island, literally the last human settlement on their route. The whalers warned Shackleton that the conditions in the Weddell Sea were incredibly dangerous and urged him to delay. But Shackleton, well, he was stubbornly determined, and he ordered the ship to press on straight into the dense ice. Part 2. Trapped in the ice, the Endurance falls. That stubbornness had a terrifying cost. By January 1915, the dense ice of the Weddell Sea clamped down hard around the Endurance, completely trapping them just 60 miles from their planned landing spot at Vosel Bay. The frozen sea simply carried the trapped ship further and further away from land. For months, they just waited in this claustrophobic darkness until the immense pressure of the freezing ocean started to crush the wooden hull. By October 1915, the ice cracked the ship, and freezing water at negative 8.5 degrees Celsius began violently rushing in. The crew worked desperately, pumping water nonstop for 3 straight days. But the ice pressure was simply too immense to fight. With the ship taking on way too much water, Shackleton was forced to give the devastating order: abandon ship. As they stepped out onto the fragile, freezing ice in the middle of the ocean, the ultimate despair set in. Crew member Tom McLeod looked at the grim situation and solemnly declared, "I don't think we will ever see home again." The sheer physical force of nature out there was absolutely terrifying. On October 27, 1915, with a deafening crack, the ice lifted the rear of the ship 20 feet into the air, completely shattering it. As they unloaded their supplies, Shackleton enforced a strict 2-pound limit per man for survival gear. Because of this, the expedition's photographer, Frank Hurley, had to make a heartbreaking choice. He could only save 150 of his 400 precious photographic negatives. Part 3. The desperate ice drift. Survival on the floes. The ship sank, taking their grand dreams straight to the bottom with it. Now the crew faced a grim new reality. They set up what they called Ocean Camp, directly on a drifting, cracking ice floe. I mean, just imagine living on a giant block of frozen ocean that is literally melting and breaking apart right beneath your feet, all while drifting further away from known land. Survival became a brutal, daily mathematical equation. Shackleton actually lied about their food quantities to keep morale high, knowing full well that mental defeat would kill them faster than starvation. They were subsisting on a single daily biscuit, diluted milk, and a tiny bit of meat paste. Eventually, they were forced to make the agonizing decision to shoot and eat their sled dogs. They even had to hunt a massive 1,000-pound sea leopard just to stay alive. And this brilliantly illustrates a vital, inspiring concept. Survival is just as much a psychological battle as a physical one. When the body has absolutely nothing left to give, pure mental resilience takes over. It's the exact same sheer will we see in modern examples of incredible resilience. Take fitness coach Dinaz Vervatwala, for instance, who overcame horrific 53% body burns to not only survive, but actively set a Guinness World Record. It's that exact same unbreakable human mindset that Shackleton cultivated out there on the ice. That mental fortitude was tested way beyond all normal limits. Get this, it took an agonizing 497 days. 497 days of drifting on shrinking, cracking icebergs, fighting off hypothermia, starvation, and utter despair before the crew finally set foot on solid land again. Let that sink in. On April 15, 1916, they finally reached the desolate rocks of Elephant Island, but the journey there was treacherous. At one point, a crew member named Ernie Holness actually fell into the freezing ocean when their ice floe cracked. He was pulled out, sure, but with no fire to dry off, the risk of fatal hypothermia was immediate. So Shackleton forced the completely exhausted man to walk back and forth all night long, purely generating body heat until his clothes dried. Brutal, but necessary. Part 4. The Drake Passage Gamble, an impossible voyage. Okay, so they were on solid ground, but Elephant Island was entirely uninhabited, completely off the map for passing ships, and practically a dead end. No rescue was coming. If they stayed there, they would die. Shackleton had to make a totally desperate move. Looking at his maps, Shackleton had 3 incredibly grim options to seek help. Cape Horn was 800 kilometers away. The Falkland Islands were 880 kilometers away. But Shackleton, he gambled on the furthest possible target, South Georgia Island, a staggering 1,300 kilometers away. Why? Because the ferocious winds and ocean currents of the region were actually slightly more favorable in that direction. So the crucial point is that standing between them and salvation was the Drake Passage. They had to cross the deadliest sea on Earth in a tiny modified rowboat. This stretch of ocean is literally a graveyard for over 800 ships and 20,000 sailors, infamous for rogue waves up to 12 meters high. Shackleton and 5 of his men navigated this nightmarish ocean for weeks, vomiting, freezing, and even surviving a massive hurricane, right before finally spotting land, 522 days after their initial departure. But wait, there's more. Their boat was too damaged to sail around the island to the whaling station. They had landed on the wrong side. So Shackleton, Worsney, and Crean made one final impossible physical push. Without any tents or sleeping bags, they hiked 29 miles across unmapped 10,000-foot glacier mountains. They literally cut stairs into the mountain ice, climbing nonstop for 36 hours until they finally stumbled into the Stromness whaling station on May 20th, 1916. The whalers couldn't even recognize them as human at first. Part 5. A miraculous rescue, the return for the crew. Now, while Shackleton reached safety, back on Elephant Island, 22 men had been left behind. They had been living underneath 2 overturned rowboats for over 4 long months. They were surviving on penguin meat. Their toes were rotting from gangrene, and hope was seriously dwindling with every passing freezing day. But they didn't break, and that's largely thanks to the unyielding hope of Frank Wild, Shackleton's second-in-command. Every single morning, without fail, Wild would look out at the empty, frozen horizon and tell the men, "Pack your bags, boys. The boss might come today." He repeated this phrase daily just to keep the stranded men from succumbing to the dark void of depression. Meanwhile, back in civilization, Shackleton was relentlessly pushing the British and Chilean governments for ships to go back for his men. It was agonizing. Thick ice kept blocking the rescue ships, resulting in 3 totally failed attempts. Finally, on his 4th try, aboard the Chilean ship Yelcho, Shackleton broke through the ice on August 30th, 1916, and incredibly found his men waiting right there on the beach. And this leads us to the most jaw-dropping statistic of this entire explainer. After nearly 2 years of starvation, freezing temperatures, crushing ice, and navigating the deadliest oceans on Earth, there was 0 casualties. Let me repeat that, 0. Against completely, absolutely impossible odds, all 27 official men and, yes, even Blackborough the stowaway survived the entire ordeal. The ship, however, was lost to the ice, or so we thought. 106 years later, in 2022, modern explorers scanning the ocean floor made a really incredible discovery. Sitting perfectly preserved, 10,000 feet deep in the freezing waters of the Weddell Sea, was the Endurance. Because of the unique freezing conditions of the Antarctic waters, it looks almost exactly as it did the day it sank. It's a haunting, yet beautiful monument to the ultimate story of teamwork and leadership. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a final thought to deeply reflect upon. You've seen the facts, you know the timeline, you could imagine the unbearable conditions. When faced with truly insurmountable odds, when the body just gives out and all hope seems lost in the darkness, what is the true limit of human determination? It seems, as this incredible crew proved, the human spirit is infinitely stronger than the ice.